What is up? Welcome to episode 36 of Brewing Through the Multiverse. I'm Mike.
And I'm Joel.
How we doing, man?
Doing well. Doing well. Excited for Bloomburrow. Looking forward to drafting it. And is Arena you can't draft early? Like Arena waits for release? Is that what it is?
So typically it kind of gets released with pre-release. But I believe that this set it's coming out on the 30th, which is I think Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. But you will be able to do draft and sealed. It should be available for standard. The only thing you can't do is quick draft until I think they give it like 3-4 weeks before they put it in for quick draft. That way you got to pay money if you want to get in on it.
Of course.
Of course. But I'm going to be away this weekend, so we decided to record a little early, get this in the books before I disappear. But yeah, a lot of Bloomburrow to talk about. Have you checked anything on brewing for standard with these cards, or not yet?
Not so much. I did start looking at like the metagame kind of see where everyone's at right now, and where Bloomburrow cards can kind of fit in. One thing that I'm also forgetting about too for standard is that Foundations is coming out, and I don't think Foundations is going to have anything like game breaking or like oh my god, like another Shieldred or something. I wonder if Foundations actually will be like a good starting point for like standard deck building. You know what I mean? Like, will it like I don't know. I don't think will they put Doomblade back in? You know what I mean? Like something like that. Like,
Yeah. I don't know what to think about Foundations. Hopefully it's like staple cards, like really good cards, and not just beginner cards. For people who don't have the budget for Shieldreds. Hopefully it's still good cards.
well,
But
I know that like they've already announced that like Omniscience is in it. So, you know what I mean? So like, I'm
okay.
not saying Omniscience is like a great card. It's definitely like a a win more kind of like bullshit card. But if they're willing to put that in there, I'm hoping that there's going to be something.
Yeah. I'm curious to see about that. Do you know when the release for Foundations?
No idea. Not a clue. I think by the end of the year.
All right. Well, shit. We'll
But
see. I honestly
go on.
I was going to say, I haven't really brewed for standard yet either. I need to get them on the Arena client to really start, brewing it out. So I still don't know what I'm doing.
I find typically like for me, almost like Commander, to really get my brewing juices going, I need to find a card that I'm like, I want to play this card. And that's kind of how I start. Especially since I haven't like participated in standard in a long time. Like when I did play a little bit of standard, like a couple months ago, it was because Guff triplets I thought was awesome, and I was like, how do I make Guff triplets work? And then I built a deck around that.
Right.
I built a Charnel Troll deck back in Return to Ravnica that didn't work at all. But I did take it to the GP we went to, so
that was fun, man. I miss doing stuff like that.
Yeah, and that was like your Bells and Lock deck too, wasn't he? Kind of like the reason why you ended up going that route.
Lich's Mastery, I think, was the original card that I built around that led to Bells and Lock, and then I just fell in love with Bells and Lock after that. But I believe it was Lich's Mastery, right? That was the enchantment, right?
Yeah, that you win the game or you lose if it leaves or whatever. It's one or the other.
Yes. Good card, good deck. I miss that shit.
So yeah, once rotation happens, I'm just gonna look, kind of really look through all the cards and just try to find something that really like. I'm already leaning towards Orzhov, or maybe I'll try to make Abzan work. Me like forcing it all the time.
It's not forcing it if it's good, I mean,
true. I really liked Troy's Thalia Gitrog monster deck, so
yeah.
That's very inspiring for me as well because I love Thalia and the Gitrog.
It's crazy how much Troy like really kind of is a servant with standard. Like he really resonated with that format, and he took it very seriously. I mean, he hasn't been playing too long, but that format is something he understands very, very much so, more so
Yeah,
than I'd say I do.
great
Um,
brewer.
yeah, I love the idea of if we ever went to one of those like team tournaments where I would do limited, he would do standard, and you would do the eternal format.
Yeah,
I love that.
that's
One
definitely
day.
how it would go. One day, yeah, man, I'd really love to do that. That seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Which also, um, before we get into all the spoilers, I saw that there's going to be a sealed Thunder's Junction um, event on Arena. What is that? That direct event or whatever it is where they send you
Oh
like
yeah, where they can
boxes.
get the box. Yeah,
I'm gonna enter it, man. I mean, sealed is my best chance at doing it, and I'm pretty good with Thunder Junction. So, fuck it, I'm gonna order it, and you get 2 booster boxes if you get your 6 wins. So
oh, it's this time it's two. Oh, because it's two Thunder Junction boxes.
yeah, so it's cheaper, but
Yeah, that's
I'm
still
I'm
cool.
gonna
There's some
try
good
it.
shit in there. There's some good shit in there.
Yeah, Thunder Junction has great stuff, man. I love that set. So, I mean, the aesthetic isn't that great, but the cards top notch. So,
Yeah,
I'll give that a go. We'll see how it goes. Now, I wanted to draft all Vacation, but finding out that the set isn't coming out until the 30th is kind of a kick in the dick there. So,
shit.
what are you
Get
gonna
some
do?
Marvel snapping. That's what you could do. Play some Marvel Snap.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Honestly, what I got to do is I got 5 more days to finish my mastery on Arena. I got like
Word.
eight or 9 more levels, so I'll fuck around with that. I sent you. I don't know if you saw it. I sent you the Throne of the Grim Captain uh, game. I did a recording of a game. It's like 4 minutes and 20 seconds long, and it was
Oh no,
just.
I was cooking when you sent it and ended up watching it.
It's 4 minutes to show. I mean, turn 4 flipped it. Turn 5 swung in. Had an Atali enter, so it's 2 7/7s. The Atali triggers went off. I got a Chamil from it, and it was just pretty much game over right there. Turn 6 he conceded. So it was a good representation of why I like that deck so much and why I think Throne of the Grim Captain is one hell of a card. But
Damn.
that's for
Look
another
at
time.
you, bro. Look at you go with that fucking card. I love
Oh,
that.
it's so good.
I
So
love that
good.
you're pushing it so hard and making it work.
And it works.
It
It's not
works,
like
yeah.
I'm forcing it. Like I said with your Abzan, is like it's not forcing if it's doing its job.
Yeah.
Uh, but all right, so let's get right into the Bloomburrows because we got 3 colors to cover and the
Wait, one thing
multicolors.
real quick before we get into it,
Yes,
actually.
hit me,
Side
hit me.
I saw a video and it really kind of like it makes sense when I think about it, but it blew my mind nonetheless. It was an MTG Goldfish video, and it was, can a standard deck beat a modern deck from 10 years ago? So, have you seen this at all? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. So, Saffron Olive ends up playing like one of the current Orzhov like mid range decks, and Richard was playing Jund, but like the Pro Tour winning Jund list from 2014, and it was pretty insane how much like better the standard deck was. Um,
Yeah,
it's just like shocking how far kind of pushed like mechanics are and how much just more complex everything is and whatnot. And like I saw a lot of commentary online saying like, well, Jund was meant to be like the toolbox deck against like all the other boogeymen like Twin and shit like that. Hold on, we're getting some really bad feedback. And we're back.
okay.
But yeah, just like how much of a fight they put up. And as I was saying, like people were saying that, what if it fought Twin or if it fought like another like tier deck from that time period as well. But at the same time, still, it's just like, damn, standard decks can beat old modern decks.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I bring pretty much 90% standard decks to Pioneer. When I do go play Pioneer, I'm bringing a standard deck. I don't need to brew too hard. I mean, listen, if you know what you're doing and the cards are, the best you can get for whatever you're trying to do, everything is viable, you know. But
Yeah.
it's crazy how the power creep. And I don't know if it's really power. Well, I guess it is, right? I think modal spells are, really helpful. I think the fact that they put a lot more ETBs because removal has gotten stronger helps. Do you call that power creep or is that just better design? All right.
Back at it again.
All right.
I believe you asked me if is that power creep?
Yeah, is it power creep or good design, these modal spills and more ETBs?
I feel like it's both. I feel like, if you look at, the first 5 to 10 sets of Magic's history and compare that to like the 2010s era, like there's significant increases there. And then it's just going to keep going up because like you've used all the simple design space. They need to kind of like stretch into other areas and whatnot. And I
Yeah,
personally find it to be more fun. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
Tarmogoyf had its time, and I fucking love Tarmogoyf. I played Abzan back in the day, so I get it. But like, now we have like Questing Beast and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like things that are just like insane.
yeah. And it allows for more variables in deck building. Um, because there's more cards. There's every card does 9 things, and maybe you're using it for the first 4 abilities, but the other 3 don't matter. And then in another deck, you're using that same card, but for the last 3 abilities, and you don't
Yeah,
care about the first 4. So maybe it is power creep, but that power creep allows for such diverse decks that you know everything kind of levels out. So I'm okay with it also. But that is a little crazy that a standard deck is beating a pro tour winning modern deck. But it's
yeah.
not shocking. I'm not surprised.
I don't know. Now the question is, could it compete with a modern deck like a current modern deck now that like Modern Horizons 3 sets have come out and shit like that? Like, I don't know about that.
I don't
But
think it'll be favorable, but I bet you that you could still get wins with the standard decks.
even against Nadu's like insane right now.
If you were to take the the cards in standard and build it with the idea of going against Naidu, like you knew you were going to play against Naidu, I'm
Yeah.
sure it would be okay.
Yeah, you could do
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah,
The one ring's fat.
yeah,
And
yeah. That
Orcish
fucking card.
Bowmasters. God damn.
I'm telling you, they're going to have to reprint those cards, and it's not going to be, because the One Ring, that title, and Orcish Bowmasters also, that's not specifically Lord of the Rings. It's not like Gandalf specifically. So they can make any ring, as long as it's different art and not Lord of the Rings inspired,
Yeah,
they
just
can
like
reprint that shit.
just like the what you call it? The Walking Dead's, the universes within versions, I think they call them.
Yeah. But I don't even think they'd have to change the name like they did with The Walking Dead.
Orcish Bowmasters, no. The One Ring, I feel like it's pretty specific. It is the One Ring.
Yeah, but I mean, any multiverse could have the One Ring.
True, yeah, but I just feel like that one. I would debate. Just call it like Blargle's Ring of Power, and it's like sick.
Yeah. Yeah, but Bolus's, Supreme Ring. I don't know.
Yeah, like Bolus's nipple ring, and it's that.
Ooh, kinky as fuck. I like it. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I think I've seen people and like I mean I wouldn't hate this. People were saying like why not do a universes within masters?
Yeah, yeah, why not?
Because like we're gonna get we have the Lord of the Rings set. We know we're gonna get the Final Fantasy set. We know that there's gonna be Marvel sets coming out. So I mean I wouldn't mind a masters product that was just like or like including like the Dungeons and Dragons secret lair that like isn't probably gonna get reprinted at all. Um just like all those types of things. Just like reprint all those cards. Just reprint them all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure they intend to. They want that money. They fucking want that
Yeah.
money for sure. So,
I want to
and
give
make it super expensive. Fucking charge us out
yeah.
the ass. I don't care. I don't care. Oh,
All right,
I
now
did what I
go
did
on.
before we go because I whatnotted 2 collectors packs of Bloomburrow,
Oh,
and I pulled hot fire. I mean, one of the packs had the Autumn 3 Tree City
okay.
borderless, which is
Yeah.
like one of the most expensive cards in the set. For the non-showcase, and then the other one had Bria, that mythic white in like the borderless beautiful art. So
Oh, sick. Hell yeah. That's dope.
yeah, so
You
I
should run
definitely
that
I
in
got my
something.
money's worth. Oh, I intend to. That I overlooked that card, and when you were talking about it yesterday, and it was last week, the value scale of it
Yeah.
definitely worth running. So I'm excited. But anywho, all right, let's get right back into these Bloomburrow spoilers. We will be on black now. And why don't you start us off? What's some good shit?
All right, so I believe we left off with blue, so that means we're on to black.
Yes.
Um, so obviously we have to talk about the season because the seasons are insane.
Yeah.
Season of Loss, three in black sorcery. You can get the five paw prints, one paw print. Each player sacrifices a creature. Two paw prints. Draw a card for each creature you controlled that died this turn. Three paw prints. Each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Thoughts?
I love this one. I fucking love this one. How are you using this if you play this?
Each player sacrifices five creatures.
Yeah. And what's great is like let's say there's only 3 creatures, you still have 2 paw prints left over, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean the default for me is board wipe, not board wipe, but each player loses X life with creatures in the graveyard and then doing like the sacrifice twice.
Yeah.
Um but I don't know, man. Three sacrifices and then drawing three cards is pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the trifecta of what you wanna do with black. I mean, make people sacrifice creatures is phenomenal, and the fact that you could get 5 creatures with this is legit. Drawing cards for each creature you controlled that died this turn is definitely a black want, I mean, we're sacrificing shit anyway, and especially, like, if you let's say you use 3 of this, you're sacrificing 3 creatures too, maybe you wanted to, um, and then you draw 3 cards with that. The last ability I probably wouldn't use too often because most times it's what do you have, like 5 creatures in graveyard at most, you know?
Yeah.
So that'll probably be the one I use least, but it's still something you wanna do. I mean, I
Yeah.
like this one. Useful in every way.
I was gonna say the last mode I feel like is when you're trying to close out a game and it's like, I got someone to 3 life, but they stabilized the board off Season of Loss for 4.
Yeah, yeah. It's you're right though. The sacrifice a creature is gonna be the most used on these, but I mean, card draw is always welcome on a removal spell as well. And the fact that you could choose 2, it's not choose one or the other. It's like divvy it up how you want, man. Spend your money as you want.
Okay,
So I
so
like
here's
that one.
another one. Uh so this is the art that when I first saw I was so excited about because I was like, oh my god, it's a fucking squirrel necromancer. Um and now we have the card itself, which is Osteomancer Adept.
Yes.
2 mana, Squirrel Warlock, 2/2, Death Touch. You can tap it until the end of turn. You may cast creature spells from your graveyard by foraging in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter on it.
There's no mana needed to get that creature out of the graveyard. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So self mill, it rewards self mill because you're going to dig it out. You could exile the other cards, or if you're going into a food direction,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's pretty
Um,
gnarly.
yeah. I think this will see some play. Um, because listen, you have 4 of cards you really want, and as things die, it goes to the graveyard, and now it's 5 of, a 6 of, because you're still able to cast it. No one wants to waste removal on a 2 mana 2/2, and it has Death Touch, so it's a good blocker if you need to. Um, I was saying that Forage isn't a good ability, but I don't know if there's enough food tokens floating around, this might be pretty fucking good. Is this something you would run?
Depends on the direction I ends up going. I feel like it's very specific. It's not something that I would just like put into any deck for generic value. Um, but I like it. Um, I do find though, and I remember this from running like delve cards before that like if you're not committed to that strategy, like you'd be surprised how quickly. Well, I guess escape was the same thing with like Uro and Croxa, but like I just find like 3 cards ends up being a lot higher of a cost than it seems on face value if you're not like consistently self milling yourself. Because
Yeah.
sometimes shit just doesn't go to the graveyard, or you only have like
Yeah.
2 cards in there, and it's like, damn, I really got to get one more card in there, but like I'm trying to cast this other. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah. And rat cards, are fucking with the graveyard. There's a lot of graveyard removal and handling, so there is a chance that you don't have it. But if you're building around it and you intend to, even in like the seasons, if you plan on casting the seasons and sacrificing creatures, you're gonna have creatures in your graveyard. This might as well go in there, even if it's just for a 2/2 death touch. That's fine too.
Well, yeah, that's decent. That's mad decent.
Yeah, and it's a warlock. I will keep on pointing out how many outlaws there really are in this set. Be aware of outlaws. It's
Yeah,
real.
lots of assassins too, running all over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah, for sure. Mercenaries. Okay, so while we're on the, bringing it out of the graveyard, coiling rebirth, which is 3 black,
Mm.
has gift a card. You can return creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So 5 mana to return a creature from the graveyard to the battlefield is normal rate. If you gifted them a card, um, and the creature isn't legendary, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a 1/1. So for 5 mana, you're going to get 2 copies of a creature. You got to give your opponent a card. In standard, you have to build around this. But again, if you are building around it, this is awesome. And then in Commander, I think this is awesome. This is legit for Commander. Thoughts?
I don't really like it.
No?
Just because it's so
Too fair?
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too. Because you just said like, okay, like maybe it's good in standard. I don't know enough about standard to make a claim one way or another, but I know at least in Commander, it's like hard to like find a spot for coiling rebirth when reanimate costs 1 mana, or like animate dead is 2 mana, or like even like victimize, which I think is like 3 mana, and sacrifice a creature to bring 2 back.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many cheaper options where it's like hard to justify this at 5 mana in your deck, even getting the copy.
That's fair. I picture it on cards like Agent of Treachery, um, where for 5 mana you're getting this 7 mana creature and you're getting a second copy of it, and then I think Agent of Treachery is take an opponent's creature. Um, so you're going to get your 2 copies, and you're taking 2 creatures from an opponent for 5 mana. There's ways that this. What's that other blue? I think there's a lot of blue creatures, honestly. So if you're doing Demir, I would definitely consider Coiling Rebirth. But I hear what you mean, because this is a fair card. There's no way to cheat this out, and you have to gift a card to somebody. So I hear you on that one.
The other one that I really want to point out, and it's like kind of for, I mean, the card itself is cool, but there's extra baggage to it, is where are you? Maha, it's Feathers Knight.
Amanda Bynes. All you hear is Amanda Bynes when you say Maha, right?
Maha. No,
I
I
mean,
don't. Well,
not actually the name Amanda Bynes, but she had that skit where she would walk around going Maha,
oh,
and that's
Maha,
all I
yeah,
fucking yeah. That's all I
and like
fucking hear.
scare people. Yeah, damn,
Yeah,
that's actually funny.
yeah,
Even better then. So it's 3 black for a 6/5 flampler. So fuck demons in this set. They're just gonna put it on an owl. Um,
I mean,
Ward
owls are
discard a,
kind of demons of the animal world,
yeah,
right? Fuck.
fuck shit up. Ward discard a card is pretty solid. Not as good as Ward sacrifice a legendary creature, but hey, make him discard a card.
Yeah,
And then creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1. So
that's good.
yeah, I think that's really good. First of all, it's like an above rate flampler, which is already cool. Like just a 5 mana 6/5 flying trample is decent with some protection. But the real reason that I very much love this card, and I want to try to make it work in something, is that I'm a big fan of Star Trek, and there's an episode of Star Trek Next Generation where Picard goes to a planet and he's trying to speak with somebody, but the translator isn't working. And the way that the alien race that he's interacting with speaks is, for example, he says, Darmok and Jalal at Tanagra, Kemba, his arms wide. So like they basically speak in like like metaphorical references to like myths from their time, and like, those stories are what like portrays the meaning of what they're trying to say. But when I saw Maha, its feathers night, I was like, oh, dude, that sounds kind of like Darmok and Jalal at Tanagra. Like, ha ha ha. Then I found out on Reddit that the card designer actually used that episode as inspiration for naming this card when they like did the round table. And when I got that, I was like, oh my God, I knew it. Like I instantly like got it. So Maha, its feathers night has cool like background lore to it.
Damn, that's some hot fire right there. And the fact that you picked it up, that shit's deep.
Yeah. So that
I
was
I
that's
like
cool.
I like the flavor text. Its wingspan reaches from dusk to dawn. That's pretty
Oh,
badass.
absolutely. So this card's cool. I want to try to make it work. I feel like you got to run like a pyroclasm type effect, like to take advantage of the base one, or like a baby exsanguinate. I mean, not exsanguinate, baby toxic deluge, or what is it? Languish? Was that the old school one that was like -4 to everything?
Yep, languish. There was also there's that other black one that I don't fucking remember. There's a lot in there. Oh, I have a symbol on my thing. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. My fucking computer. I like this as a sideboard card. For like if you end up going against a green deck or something like this, you sideboard this in. It's going to be a beater and it's going to turn off all their monster creatures to, easily pingable. And there's a red card in standard coming out in Bloomburrow. I'm sure I'm not going to cover it because it's basic, but it's deal 2 damage to all creatures, and it's like super cheap. And then you can gift to do a little bit more, but you don't need to ever gift that. Just run it with this. You're killing everything. Melissa also has that commander where when you tap it, a creature becomes a 1/1, and I feel like this is a no-brainer for putting it in that deck where just everything's a 1/1 all the time now. So if your commander gets removed, your deck is still able to do what it's trying to do
Yeah.
almost more efficiently. I mean, maybe well, no, because that commander's multicolored, but I mean, this is definitely a good card. And if you like to play big beefy creatures, this is something you should really be afraid of.
6/5 Flample.
Maha. Rotten Mouth Viper is 5 and a black. It's an elemental snake 6/6. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of non-land permanents. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this way. This is great for if you have a whole bunch of food tokens, if you have some treasure tokens that you don't need. You always need a treasure token. But it says whenever Rotten Mouth Viper enters or attacks, put a blight counter on it. Then for each blight counter on it, each opponent loses 4 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. So you could get it out pretty quick to be a 6/6, and then your opponents are going to have to deal with right on the entry too. It's not even like it has to swing. It'll do it when it attacks, but right on the entry, are they taking 4 damage? Are they sacrificing something? Are they discarding something? And I like it. I like it, man, to be on such a big body that could come out quickly and then also interrupt board and hand. I think that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. Fucking Torment of Hellfire on a stick.
Yeah. It's a good standard card. I don't think it'll be good for commander, but one hell of a card.
Kind of pissed it doesn't have Death Touch. It's a fucking Rotten Mouth Viper and it doesn't have Death Touch.
That's a fair point. Yeah. Yeah, missed opportunity. I wonder why not. I mean, there must have been a conversation at some point of like, do we give this thing Death Touch?
Yeah, it's probably already too strong.
Yeah. All right, I got a question for you actually. Between 2 removal spells in this, now there's Fell, which is 1 in a black, destroy target creature, which is a sorcery. So 2 mana, destroy anything. But there's also Feed the Cycle, which is also 1 in a black, and it's an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, forage or pay an extra black, and then destroy target creature or planeswalker. Which would you rather run?
Oh, in standard,
Yeah,
I feel like Feed the Cycle is the way,
yeah, I agree.
because instant speed is just really big. You get extra things you can touch, so it's like you could still use it at 3 mana, but then like, incidentally you might be able to cast it for 2. I
Yeah. Yeah.
feel like Feed the Cycle's the way.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I know they kind of toted that there's a 2 mana destroy target creature spell with no conditions, but I think Feed the Cycle. I don't mind conditions if it's going to do more shit for me. That's for sure.
True. Damn. But Fella's cool too though.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be one hell of a card for limited.
For sure.
Just destroy. Any other black cards?
Um Nothing in particular jumps out at me. Um yeah. I think that I think that the Sinister Monolith, isn't that kind of like what Nahiri was doing? And Zendikar, like, was Nahiri on this planet at some point?
Oof, I don't know. She was not mentioned in the storyline. I still have one more chapter to listen to, but I don't think she was mentioned at all.
But doesn't that kind of look like a Hedron thingy? Like the not a Hedron, but like I don't know. I feel like that shape was all over Zendikar.
Oof, maybe. I mean, maybe it's like one of those little Easter eggs or there's something going on. I know we didn't call out any rats, but bro, I think rats are going to be out of control this set because there's already so many rats. Um, we got to watch out for rats. And actually, that's one thing I do want to mention too before we go any further is Delny, the streetwise whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I think that card is going to be so powerful in standard moving forwards because a lot of these creatures are power 2 or less. I mean, we got rats, we got bats, we got mice, we got rabbits, and all of them are within the color realm of running Delny. And Delny is going to allow you to swing out without having to worry. It's going to double triggers. I think Delny is going to be powerful. Grab some Delnys if you can.
Yeah. I've been sitting on a couple. I'm trying to make it work in something.
Yeah. I like that card a lot. Again, that's another card that you were kind of hyped for that I overlooked, and now I'm all in. I'm all in, dog.
There's actually one last black spell I want to point out. Cruel Claws Heist. 2 mana, black for a sorcery, gift a card. Target opponent reveals their hand. You can choose a non-land from it, exile that card. If the gift was promised, you may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. Mana of any type can be spent to cast it. Just cool to see another like duress type effect that like if you feel like you can spare the card. Oh, also they get the
Yeah.
card before you exile, so you actually get to see what they draw. Um
Ooh, that's a nifty
so
little rules thing.
yeah. And if they have no cards in hand, it's essentially 2 mana, like cast the top card of your opponent's library because you're obviously just gonna exile what they drew.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shit. And hand disruption is always good, especially like, in constructed where they have a plan. And if you can on turn 2 fuck up their plan and then maybe even cast some of the shit yourself, that's a good time.
Oh,
I do
actually,
like ooh,
oh, sorry,
go
go
ahead.
on.
I
No,
was
no,
gonna say
no.
I like that the gifted card is also viable for you. That's
Yes.
it.
Fucking, I forgot actually the card that I'm most excited about, Dire Sight, which is my second copy of Read the Bones in my commander decks. 2 black, it's just common sorcery, surveil 2, then draw 2, and then you lose 2. So my budget black decks are getting another Read the Bones. And Surveil 2 actually might even arguably be better.
Yeah. Yeah, and in any black deck, yeah, you could always use graveyard shit. Actually, there's a lot of graveyard usage. I'm sure if you were to take the time and build something where you're using your graveyard, it's going to be really good. I mean, the graveyard is mentioned a lot in this set, so take advantage of it if you can. All right, my last black card I'm going to mention is Bandit's Talent, which is a class. I really like this card. It's not too powerful, but I think it's doing so much in it that this could be something. So it's one in a black. When it enters, each opponent discards 2 cards unless they discard a non-land card. So, 2 mana, possibly discard 2 is really good. You pay 1 more mana to level it up to level 2. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, they lose 2 life. I love that ability, that little, the little rack ability. And then at the beginning, if you pay 4 mana to get it to level 3, at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card for each opponent who has 1 or fewer cards in hand. It's easy to build, hand removal and hand disruption. And if you have this card out, you're going to be drawing, they're going to be losing life. I think this is a nifty little card. Maybe not for standard. Maybe it's for a commander deck, some sort of Tegrid or, Tiny Bones, the original Tiny Bones. But I really like this class card. OG Bones. So, yeah, good stuff in black. Nothing too crazy, but some good stuff. Again, we didn't mention any bats, any rats, but you know what to do with them. We don't need to call out bats and rats. Put them all together.
Yep, there you go. That's it, literally.
Yeah. All right, Red. What do you got?
Nothing. I have to say, nothing in red excites me whatsoever.
Okay, well, let's start
Besides
with the
maybe
season.
the season. Yeah, I was gonna say the season, maybe. 3 red, season of the bold. Choose 5 paws. You can create tap treasures with 1. 2, exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You can play them. 3 pause is until the end of your next turn. Whenever you cast a spell, Season of the Bold deals 2 damage to up to 1 target creature. Why isn't the third mode any target? Tell me that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they thought it was too powerful. I don't know. I don't know. This is definitely one of the weakest of the seasons. The best way I could see this being used is you pay 3 paws to get 3 tap treasure. They're tapped.
Yeah,
Go home. This isn't even
that's what I was saying, bro. What?
Because I was gonna say you get 3 treasures, and then you could pay the 2 mana to exile the top 2, and you have
You cast one of them.
Nah, you can't even do that. Go home.
As opposed to sacrifice 3, draw 2, or something, whatever the fuck. Dude, yeah, this is Season of the Bold's booty.
Yeah.
Watch it be a fucking standard staple, and we're just like terrible at evaluating cards.
I would suck my own dick on camera if that happens. There's no
we
fucking
heard
way.
it here first, folks.
Oh my god! Please don't play this card, guys.
Yeah. Start an online campaign, grassroots movement, get it going.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's what our Patreon will end up being.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I got like 2 cards I got to shout out. One
I guess
is
I have one more too, but do your 2.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'll start with Artist Talent. Not that I think this card's too good, but I know there's a few decks that could use this. So it's another class card. I do like that they made classes. It's 1 in a red. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. For Commander, that's pretty fucking good. And then you could pay 3 mana, 2 in a red to level it up to level 2. Non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That's solid. I mean, it just allows you to do, and then it's anything, any non-creature, enchantments, artifacts, whatever the fuck. So that's good. And then if you pay another 3 and it goes to level 3, if a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 2. And I kind of saw this to be Connor's deck, the Connor's Boros deck, where he was dealing all that damage. Yeah. All 3 of these abilities would go great in that deck. I don't know if he has room in it, but this is definitely a contender to possibly be put in. So I like it. Just it's a lot of mana to get it to that level 3. 7 mana is a sink. So
quite the investment.
Yeah. All right. What red card do you have?
The only red card I'd consider putting in anything that I have is Sunspine Lynx. 2 red, 5/4 elemental cat. Players can't gain life. Damage can't be prevented. When Sunspine Lynx enters, it deals damage to each player equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls. I would literally put this in my pig deck, and that's it. That's the only red card that I like.
Yeah, it, it's a good card. I low key wish it had power too. That way, Delney could double
Oh,
the.
double that, yeah.
But
Woof.
I mean, it's probably better that it's a 5/4 anyway. Um, yeah, I could definitely see this being a commander card. I don't know how much it's going to be in standard. I mean, I'm one of those people that run a decent amount of basics in standard, so this wouldn't hose me too bad. But I could see the tryhards in the meta kind of getting hosed by this a little bit. And it's a 5/4. That's pretty big. All right. So my other red card I want to mention is Byway Barterer. It's 2 and a red for a 3/3 with menace. It's a raccoon rogue. Again, it's another outlaw.
Damn.
Um, and it says whenever you expend 4, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards. Um, this is like the one expend where I love Crimson Pulse. I love anything where it's like dump your hand and draw a bunch. Because if you're trying to really aggroing it out and dropping shit and doing shit, I mean, you end up with no hand very often. And the ability to, well, let me at least get 4 out, get 2 more cards, keep going. I like this card. I'll probably put it in some constructed standard decks because I am a person that I don't want to have a card that says draw 2 cards. I'd rather have a creature that's going to draw me cards. And this is a good way to do it on a decent body. And it's got menace. And then real quick, I also do want to shout out Hoarder's Overflow. This is our stash counter. This is the stash
There it
counter card.
is.
And it sucks.
It's not
Well,
weed.
actually, let's see. Does it suck? So it's an uncommon, 1 in a red, and it's an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, when it enters and whenever you expend 4, put a stash counter on it. And then you can pay 2 mana, sacrifice it, and you draw cards equal to the number of stash counters. Is this good? This is our fun or trash.
I guess it depends. Because you're not running this in like a spell slinger deck, because spending 4 mana to cast spells in a turn, like how many turns are you casting that many cards? You know what I mean? Like
I say
to
3
reach
turns.
4.
3 turns of casting. Well, it would really be just two times because when it enters, you get 1. And then you just need to expend 4 2 turns. And I think 2 mana to draw 3 cards is worth it.
Yeah. But you're also discarding your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, I'm around that.
it's okay.
All right.
Maybe
All right.
I don't
What's
know.
better, this or Connect the Dots from Murders?
What does connect the dots do?
It's a red, and it's whenever you. It's an enchantment. Whenever you attack with a creature, exile a card underneath it, and then you can sacrifice it to draw all those cards.
Connect the dots.
Okay. All right. Well, fucking stash counters suck then.
I don't know. Do you like it? Is this fun or trash for you?
I would like to pull one in limited. I don't see myself putting this in a constructed deck. I would much rather put that raccoon rogue for sure to discard and draw for sure.
Yeah. I know. I just don't love red. Red is my least favorite color.
Red was a bummer. Red's got a bunch of nice little mice if you're trying to do the mouse way, if you're trying to do the Valiant.
I wasn't even impressed with like the mice, to be honest. Like I really wanted to. They're adorable.
Yeah.
Maybe in limited, I'll fall in love. I'll fall in love. But yeah, nothing up front.
We'll see. Yeah, and on the 30th, you are getting your $20 get the fuck in some standard. So get ready. It'll be there.
I'm not prepared.
That's all right. You don't have to be. It'll just happen. All right, so let's go to green then. Let's get to this color that always gets all the good shit. And we will start off with the season. Go ahead, read us the fucking green season.
Season of Gathering, which is 4 and 2 green, 5 paws. When 1 paw is put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control, it gains vigilance and trample to the end of the turn. For 2 paws, you can choose target artifact or enchantment. Wait, hold on. Choose artifact or enchantment. Destroy all permanents of the chosen type. And then 3 paws is draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control.
Oof.
Um, yeah, it's fucking the shit's good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. How are you using it? What's your abilities?
Thinking about the deck that I'd probably use it in, I'd imagine it would be most of the time would be 2/1/1 counters and draw cards,
Yes.
closing out a game, maybe the 5 1/1 counters, and just give things vigilance and trample to go for like a big swing. So yeah, either two paws and a 3 paw, or 5 1 paws. And then you always have the option of the 2 paws, like, hey, they've got some problematic enchantments out. Let me get rid of them. Or, artifacts. Let me wipe their treasures. Their
Yeah.
tapped treasures that they got from that other shitty fucking season.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors. The green one beats the red one every time with this. That's crazy. Um, yeah, for sure. I mean, the draw cards equal to the greatest power in green is going to be what you use every time. And then obviously might as well use the last two to pump up creatures and swing. I like this one, man. I want to grab one or two of these for my decks. Any green commander deck wants this. That's
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
solid.
Yeah. And I don't think they're expensive. I think a lot of the seasons are under $10. These are not the
Damn.
chase cards of the set at all. So grab them while you can. All right. I want to call out Paw Patch Recruit. It's 1 green for a 2/1 with Offspring 2. So that Offspring 2 ain't that bad. So for 3 mana, you're getting a 2/1 and a 1/1, and it's got trample. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of spell or an ability an opponent controls, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control other than that creature. So if you drop this out turn 1 as a 1/1, it's a 2/1 that you get right there. You're able to do some damage in it. And then as you drop bigger creatures, if they're using removal on your bigger creature, you're just going to grow other creatures. This is one of those like I had said last week. I love a card that's annoying, but you don't want to use removal on it, but you have to because it'll go from annoying to powerful real quick. So as a turn 1 drop, this is phenomenal. And it's something they're going to have to handle. And if they don't, it'll just keep on growing. And then if you draw it late and you get the 2 creatures, you offspring it, it's only 3 mana and you're going to get 2 creatures. And if they are removing your bigger creatures, you're putting 2/1/1 counters on shit. And I think this could definitely see some play in standard. I like this card.
I like that card too, and that actually links into my card that I want to call out first, which is Valley Might Caller. Um, 1 green for a 1/1 with trample. Whenever another frog, rabbit, raccoon, or squirrel enters, put a 1/1 counter on it. So you
Oof.
play that paw patch turn 1. Turn 2, you're dropping a Valley Might Caller and maybe something else. And then or maybe probably vice versa, actually. That's probably the play is Valley Might Caller turn 1. Turn 2, you play the other one. It gets 1/1. So now it's a 2/2. You have a 2/2 and a 2/1. If they target the Valley Might Caller, you put the counter on something else. You put the counter on the rabbit. Now you have a 3/2 on the rabbit. So I don't know. I feel like that's lots of solid ass 1 drops here.
Yeah. And if you have Delney out, you're getting mad triggers, bro.
Oh my god, there's the origin of my Abzan deck. I could do squirrels, rabbits, and frogs in the three colors.
Dude, hell yeah.
And I'm
That's
pretty
the
sure
way
they're
to
all
do it.
batched together, yeah, so they'll all help each other out there.
Yeah. No, for sure. Um, let's see. Tender Wild Guide is 1 and a green for a 2/2, so 2 mana 2/2. Offspring 2. It's a mana dork. You could tap it for 1 mana of any color, which is awesome. But you could also tap it to put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Um, I mean, a mana dork is great if you don't need the mana. Save it up as a blocker at the end of the turn. If you didn't need to block with it, you didn't need the mana, you just grow it, and then it's got this adorable little opossum baby that will also grow. Um, So I really like this card. I don't know if this is constructed powerful enough, but I mean, with what we have going on with 1/1 counters, and let's say you have, what's that, Bristly Bill, and counters are going on anyway, and these little guys are now suddenly 4/4s, 5/5s. I mean, it could see something, but I like the potential of this card. I love the fact that you can possibly get two mana dorks out of this if you drop 4 mana. I mean, it scales well. So,
That's
and
good.
awesome art. Yeah.
Yeah, big fan. I mean, all the art is fucking
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Um, Fecund's Green Shell.
Mhm.
I really like this card. I don't know if it's standard playable. I hope it is because I kind of want to try to run it. 3 green for 4/6 with reach. As long as you control 10 or more lands, creatures you control get +2/+2. Whenever it or another creature you control with toughness greater than its power enters, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, put it in your hand. So it's a pseudo draw card / ramp on ETB, and
Yeah.
it has reach, and it's a 4/6, and late game it's a fucking 6/8. That's giving all your other things bonuses.
Yeah. Yeah. Scalable cards, man. That's good shit.
Do you think it's standard playable? Do you think it would have the chops to make it?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, you put it in the right deck and you give it a little protection or a bump, and I mean, it's powerful, so as long as there's some synergy with it, that'll be a body for sure. I like the artwork on it too. It's good shit. I Is it a card you would play?
I mean, I'd consider it. So I'm trying to find top ends for my fake Abzan deck that I'm gonna build.
That you are gonna build, hell yeah. No, that's good. All right, so there's this little frog synergy here that I like. So there's a 3 tree scribe, which is one in a green, 2/3, so 2 mana, 2/3. Whenever 3 tree scribe or another creature you control leaves the battlefield without dying, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. So that's this base for this whole hop mechanic. I'm calling it hop. I don't know what it, but where creatures are going to go to hand, you're going to recast them. They're all low cost, so you can do your shit. Um, but so I like that, but I was looking like what creature can you have leaving and coming back in that you want to actually keep on pulling and dropping back in. And there is a little 1 mana frog called the Sun Shower Druid, which is 1 green for a little O2. But when it enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature and you gain 1 life. So if you have this tiny little Sun Shower Druid out and you're doing your frog stuff, and 3 tree is out. Every time that little frog leaves, you put a counter on, and then you recast it for 1 mana, and you put another counter on something and gain a life. And then that little frog leaves, and then you put it back in. And I like that synergy. And I think there's going to be a nice little Simic frog deck that's going to be a nice tempo, that'll grow things, counters. I see it working, but the same with the raccoon is like, I love the idea of it and I could see it working, but I have no idea what standard's going to be like after
Yeah,
rotation.
it's so hard to tell. There's so much to like. So much is
Yeah.
leaving. You
Yeah.
still gotta contend with like children.
Yeah, yeah. I love it though. I love
She's
this
not.
area. Shieldred is last week, and I was like, Shieldred's not a problem. And then I saw some people deck building, and it's all Shieldreds.
Yeah, like basically, yeah. If you're in black, you have it in there regardless.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Do you think they would ban it? Ban Shieldred?
No, no, because I don't know if it's a problem enough yet. And they need some reason to keep buying Dominaria United packs because that's the only card that's worth anything.
That's fair. Well, I mean, maybe they got their money out of it. Maybe they checked their list of profit, and they're like, all right, we hit our 5 million% profit. We might as well shut her down now. Because really, they want to sell these packs more than they want to sell that now. So
Yeah,
there's a hope. All I'm saying is there's a chance.
saying there's a chance.
Oh shit! All right. Any other green cards before we go to
I've
multicolor?
Yeah, one last one.
Hit me.
Innkeeper's Talent. One in a green. It's a class. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. You level it up for 1 green to give permanents you control with counters on them have ward 1. And then for 4 more, if you would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. So I think it's great, especially with the Valley Might Caller we just talked about. Turn 1, Valley Might Caller. Turn 2, Innkeeper's Talent puts a 1/1 counter on Valley Might Caller. Turn 3, you drop it like the other rabbit and pay 1 to upgrade this to give your Valley Might Caller ward 1. I don't know. I just feel like it curves nicely with those cards, and I like that little Vole fucking wearing a hat. He looks like I would eat at his establishment, and doubling the number of counters on things is always cool. It's always a good effect. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot, so I have a green white standard deck built right now. That's all about 1/1 counters. It's got the 3 mana saddle creature that puts a 1/1 every turn. It's got the bristly bill. It has that 2 mana vampire. Whenever a counter goes on it, you draw a card. Um, and this is a card that I'm going to put directly into that deck immediately. Um, because it puts the 1/1 counter, but also suddenly anything with a counter has a ward 1 is real. It's
Yeah,
real. So this card is definitely going to see play by me at least. Um, and like you said, yeah, that hat, that fella, what a fella. So I think I would say this is a Troy card, but I don't know what Troy's building right now. He's probably brewing some real
crazy
tight shit.
shit.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but maybe. All right. So then I'm gonna call out the Walmart brand class here, the lower class, the uncommon. Hunter's Talent is 1 in a green. Whenever Hunter's Talent enters, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. 2 mana to deal damage is good for green. That's what an instant is going to do anyway. You could pay 2 more mana to get to level 2. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample until end of turn, which is nice. And then if you upgrade it to level 3, which is 4 mana, 3 in a green, at the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. So you're doing damage, you're doing your stuff. If there's any, hold back, you just level it up and possibly you're getting an extra card. I like this one. It's not as powerful as the other class, but if you never did anything but just drop it to destroy a creature in green, that's enough. Anything level 2, level 3 is
Yeah,
gravy in my eyes. So I like it. It's definitely
it's
something I'll consider.
it's got a cute little hedgehog on it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, with that little bow, it's smaller than a
Adorable.
toothpick. I love it. Um, yeah, so I like the classes. None of them are overpowered, which is honestly good. Um, but they all have a home. So I think that's it. Oh, before we leave classes, I just want to confirm before I'm fucking this up. When you level it up to 2 or level it up to 3, the other prior levels are still happening,
Yeah,
correct?
you just gain that
Okay.
in
All right.
addition.
Thank God, because that's how I'm reading it all. But then I'm like, if you lose level 2
No, it's
in order to go
terrible.
to level 3. Okay, exactly. Exactly. Okay. Good. Woof. Good. All right. Let's go to some multicolors. I'm not too impressed with the multicolors, honestly. Um,
Nothing really
oh,
stands out.
yeah. It's funny because I love this set, but none of the cards are like, this is a card,
Yeah, exactly. Which is I almost like that because then it's like,
Yeah.
then it's just kind of for fun. And I won't have to
Yeah.
spend a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole set is a synergy set instead of a bomb set, which is fine.
Yeah, which is cool, but also I feel like, it might be tough to break into standard if like a lot of these cards are built on helping the card, you know what I mean? Like the other cards in the set. Obviously there's cards that can fit in any deck, but there's a lot of like tribal tomfoolery.
Yeah. Yeah. If it doesn't make that much of an impact in constructed. By far, this limited environment is going to be some of the best limited environment we've played in a long time. I can't wait, man. I can't wait because drafting this is going to be tight as fuck.
Yeah, it's gonna be
You
sick.
know, yeah. And then even with
Uh,
sealed, like they all synergize. It's good.
uh, one card, not because I want to play it, but I just thought of another thing. Seaglaive Mentor, one in Boros for 3/2 with Vigilance and Haste. Valiant, whenever it becomes a target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. I love that it's like an old grizzled mouse, and it made me think of Vasher. So
Oh shit,
Zyle,
Vasher.
Vasher, just training Adolin and Kaladin how to fucking use shard blades. Like, look at it. It's so cool. Like that is a mouse shard blade, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. That is, oh man, yeah. Look at that. I mean, do you think we're ever gonna get the Stormlight Archive secret lair or anything like
I
that?
have to believe yes, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm just gonna say that yes, absolutely, because I can't live in a reality where that's not a possibility.
Yeah, it has to, right? I mean, I know we keep saying like they have to do a whole fucking. I want a Lord of the Rings set of it, but
I'll
we'll,
take a
we'll get
secret
there.
lair. I'll even take an Assassin's Creed small set.
I'm not taking anything less than an Assassin's Creed small set.
Yeah,
Don't
give
give me
me.
a secret lair.
Yeah, damn.
That's
Yeah,
a
it's fucked up.
tease.
That's fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no, we need at least a booster pack of it. So
Give me my Cosmere four commander decks, and then we'll call it a day. Do like the Fallout Warhammer treatment.
yeah, absolutely. I do want to update everybody on my frog commander. I'm thinking, all right, we're gonna do the 3-color. We're doing Glarb. I mean, is it Glarb, the Calamity. We're doing it. I'm doing it. And because there's not that many frogs, I did realize I could do Yargle and all that stuff. So I'm excited about that. But I'm going to use Mutate in order to make these frogs a little bigger. And then the Mutate cards are higher than 4 CMC, so I can cast them from the top and this, that. And fuck that deck, dude. Fuck that deck. I am bending backwards so hard to make this work. And then I thought for one moment, I was like, okay, I'm sitting there with my frogs, and you have your Eldrazi, and Joey has his
I wouldn't play
dinosaurs.
Eldrazi into your frog deck though.
But dude, I'm just talking tribals, tribes. That's all I'm saying. And then Mark has
Angels,
his
maybe.
Tyranids, dude. It's not sitting at that table, and I'm not spending all that time and money to try to make these frogs hop the fuck to my death. So I'm scrapping it. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes,
not.
yeah, I get it. Sometimes you just like fuck.
Yeah, because I keep, like we said with you and Abzan, is like it's not forcing it if it's good, and this is forcing it. I am forcing it, and
Yeah.
I'd break it up after a month anyway.
Yeah, just
So
because you're like it never works. It reminds me of Fipple which like you tried, but
yes,
just like
or
it is what it
Blim.
is.
Honestly, we could do a whole episode on commanders that disappointed the shit out of us.
We could definitely. Both have enough decks under our belts to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
do that.
We'll put that on the back burner
Yeah,
as
episode
a week
idea.
where we don't know. But yeah, but
I
so ultimately, I do want to build a deck. I'm not going to mention what it is, but there is a deck officially being built. So
from Bloomburrow or just in general?
just in general, it's from the
Boom.
past year, but it's not from Bloomburrow.
That's
So
exciting. Can't wait to see it.
yeah,
Will it
and
be ready for the 10th?
no.
Okay.
Ooh, actually, oh no, because I'm going to be gone for the week, so I'm not going to be able to obtain any of these. But it'll be ready shortly after. I
TCG
am.
player can ship while you're away. You
You're
can
right.
get them shipped to your house.
A lot of the cards I'm going to try to get from John. I always try to do that. Anything I could get from Nemesis, I will. But you're right. I could also look that up and order whatever John, have John put all the cards off to the side, order all the other cards. Maybe I can, and maybe I will. I really am excited about this one, and we'll see how it goes. but also I did also decide that Rowan is getting broken up. Playing it that last time, I'm losing too much life to play with you guys. You see me lose life, you put a little bit of pressure on me, and now my deck doesn't do anything. So that's getting broken up. It was fun. It was a good deck building exercise, but that deck's going away.
All right, just on to your next Rakdos, Commander.
Yeah, forever. The
Uh,
rotating door.
so we're over an hour now. But there's I feel like there's two cards that we should definitely mention. Well, yeah, that I would like to mention real quick.
Yeah.
I
What do we
guess
got?
one's not quick, but I don't think we talked about this last time. Yigra, Eater of All, the fucking cat, 3 black green, 6/6.
Yeah.
Ward, sacrifice of food. Other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types. Whenever food is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, a food, so that's any food, not just yours, put 2/1/1 counters on it. I just feel like I don't know what the synergies are, but I can guarantee you there's probably some broken ass shit you could do with the fact, not that they're foods, but the fact that all creatures are artifacts. I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you there's some broken, disgusting shit that you can do in the other non-standard formats with the fact that all creatures are just artifacts all of a sudden.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
got to be.
This honestly might end up being the vein ripper of the set.
Yeah, it's just gross.
Yeah, it's going to grow so fast. It pretty much has hexproof if your opponents don't have a food,
Well,
and if
if
they
they have
don't have a
creatures, they'll
food,
have
then it's a
food.
creature. Yeah, suddenly it's the vein ripper of sacrifice a
Yeah,
creature really, and they sacrifice that creature, and suddenly it's an 8/8, and then y- you got this fucking monster, and even if it's just for you, if you can that class you were just talking about, or that get or the one I mentioned, but one of the classes on the level 2 is it gets +1/+0 and has trample. So suddenly this is right off the bat a 7/6 with trample, and then you sacrifice a creature to gain some life, and then it's a 9/8 and with trample. Yigra,
I
Igra,
don't know, some
no,
bullshit.
Igra. Um, this is going to be honestly a fucking problem. And then, like you said, I didn't even think about that, where it's like suddenly everything's an artifact, and then you play the season, you destroy all fucking creatures with the 2 paws. You use the other 3 paws to put 3/1/1 counters on him, vigilance and trample. And then it's going to get +2/+2 in addition for every creature that died. And you just swing fatal right there,
Yeah,
right fucking there.
that's the deck.
Yeah. So maybe this is what you start your build around with.
Yeah, it might have to be because it just seems so fucking. It's already a 5 mana 6/6.
Yeah. Yeah. With a wild ward.
Yeah, like fuck. Yeah, so this card's crazy.
Yeah.
This might be my linchpin card. Because thinking about it too, real quick, just brewing out loud, is that it's in black, it's in green. So green is like the squirrels. Squirrels are gonna have the foods and whatnot. Um and green also touches the rabbits too with like the food. So there's your white. So you got the rabbits, you got squirrels, and then black is also kind of like squirrels, rabbits. So I don't know. I just feel like you could definitely like I liked the overlapping tribal colors too, because now that I'm kind of seeing how the set is all put together, it's making a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, this card's awesome.
And that might be the most powerful card in the set. Like I said, I see that being possibly the Vein Ripper. I don't think it's a lot of money right now, but I think that'll see some play
Yeah,
for
I'm just
sure.
gonna build around it. And then the only other card before we end it, for me at least, and then if you have any last minute shout outs, is Patchwork Banner. And this is an uncommon. It's 3 mana. It's ETB, choose a creature type. Creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1, and you tap it for mana of any color. I feel like this is going to be a Kindred deck, EDH deck staple. It's
Yeah.
cheap. It's the same price as Herald's Horn. It's not drawing you not letting you peek at the top like Herald's Horn is, but it is giving you like ramp. It's a obviously 3 mana ramp isn't the ideal place you want to be, but it's tribal support plus one mana of any color. So it's not, not even just like you're limited to colorless or some bullshit. So I feel like this is going to be moving forward pretty much in every tribal deck that anyone ever makes.
Yeah, I would definitely run it over the horn. I don't like the horn, honestly. But this I do really enjoy the patchwork. It kind of reminds me of Heraldic Banner, also,
Yeah.
where the limit is Heraldic Banner only taps the color you choose, but any creature of that color gets a +1/+1. Where this is it'll tap for any color, and it doesn't matter what color it is as long as it's that. So as long as you're doing some sort of even half tribal, some sort of like strong lean towards something, this is legit. So yeah, and I'm glad they made it uncommon, and it wasn't like only in pre-con decks, and then now you got
Exactly.
it. So the
Get a bunch of them
they
out
killed
there.
it. Yeah, no, they killed it.
Any
I guess
last
my
minute shout outs?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Three Tree City. I didn't even know about this card until I watched the guy fucking open it in my pack. So he was like, "Oh my god, this card!" I'm like, "It's a fucking land." As always, I always pull a fucking land, and then I looked, and so it's Three Tree City, which is a legendary land. As it enters, choose a creature type, and it'll tap for it taps for colorless, but you could pay 2 and tap it to choose a color, add an amount of mana that color equal to the number of creatures you control of the chosen type. So if you have any sort of, I guess it's kind of like a Gaia's Cradle. I mean, shitty as fuck.
Yeah.
Nyx Bloom, Gaia's Cradle. But if you are in slivers, if you are doing elves, if you are doing, dinosaurs or anything like that, I mean, this could possibly be quite a bump for you. And it comes in untapped, so it's not like you have to wait for it to do anything. You come in
Just,
untapped, you can
yeah.
at least tap it for mana. I like the potential of it. I don't have any decks for it to run, but I didn't even know about this card until I saw it get pulled, and then when I read it, I see why it's at least being hyped up. So Three Tree City, bro.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we did it. Also, let me just say, I don't hate frogs. I don't think it's going to land at a commander table. I will build a standard frog deck for sure, and it's going to be fun. Everyone's going to love it. It's going to be amazing, but not for commander.
Not
You
for
got to know
Commander.
when to fucking to
Hold
just
them, and
give
you
it
got
up.
to know when to fold them.
Amen. It was a hard pill to swallow for me, honestly. I was like torn about it, but listen, when we sit down to play Commander, those games last a while, and if I'm not having fun for that whole while because I have a 1/2 frog,
It's not worth it.
what am I doing? What am I doing? So yeah, you'll see some Obeka soon.
Hell yeah.
You know what it is? I've been playing Brawl too, and I fucking I
You
love
have to
it,
do it.
and the idea that it could be my Triska Decaphobia deck is
This is fucking not bad.
yeah. So yeah, I'll try to get that ready for the 10th.
Cool.
Yeah.
How's that glass doing?
It's just a little bit left. I
Feels
gotta
like
go to
it's the
fucking work.
bottom.
It is. I gotta fucking get ready. This is my last full night shift. I've been doing this night shift for over 2 months now. It is killing me. It's funny because I got this fitness tracker that tracks my sleep, and then I'm having some real issues sleeping now because I got the whole family at home. It's summertime. I got a wife and kids, hanging around the house the entire time, and there's this immense guilt just sleeping the whole day away. I can't do it, and I've been hitting about 3.5 to 4.5 hours sleep a day, and it's not even real sleep because I'm waking up to pee because it's the middle of the day and everything, and my watch is like warning me like you need to get sleep. I got 12 minutes of REM sleep the other day. I woke up 4 times within a 3 hour. It has a readiness score of 1 to 100. My readiness score each day has been 5. Today it's a 1. I got
Jesus
3 hours sleep. It's a
Christ.
1. It's like warning me, like you are gonna die if you don't get sleep. So I am on my last full night shift. Tomorrow I have a half day of night shift, and then I'm officially off of this night shift.
Thank God.
Yeah, man, honestly, it's been a lot. So hopefully it'll be easier to record. I'll have a little bit more mental capacity and time to look and maybe even play more Magic. So,
Oh yeah. That's always
and
the
on
goal.
that note,
That's the bottom of the glass.
Hell yeah, man. Listen, you have a wonderful week. Draft as much as you can when it comes out. Start brewing, see what we could do, and
Yeah, we'll be
I'll see you
talking
on the
about
other side.
sealed and limited on the other side.
And next week let's also cover some commander cards because I haven't even looked through the commander decks. I'm
Word.
sure there's some cool stuff in there. We got a lot more Bloomburrow coming your way. Take it easy.
Peace.